Have you ever wondered if getting married again was the right thing to do? Many people don't realize how different marriage is when you're younger and when you're older. It can be especially hard to get married again after being single for a long time, getting divorced, or losing a spouse. It can change your relationships, your happiness, and your bank account in ways you didn't expect. This video will teach you 5 important things you should know if you want to get married again after 60 years. In the long run, these ideas may make you rethink your ideas about love, commitment, and safety. A lot of the time, people jump into second marriages without thinking about what will happen in the long run. This can cause stress and problems that were not expected. Know what you're doing and make the best choice for yourself, one that makes you happy, at peace, and stable. Read this whole article if you want to avoid needless heartache and find a partner who is a good match for you. If you want to get married again or are planning to do so soon, this information will help you. Don't miss a video before we start. Please subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. To show that you like this video, click the like button in the comments section. Type 0 in the comments to let me know you don't like it. It will help me make videos for you that are better. We can begin now. To begin, people's finances change when they turn 60. A lot of people are shocked to learn that getting married a second time can have a big effect on their finances when they do it later in life. Marriage isn't just a commitment to one person. It also has legal and financial effects that a lot of people don't understand. You could lose money on your retirement savings, pensions, Social Security benefits, and the amount you leave to your family when you die if you aren't careful. You're wrong to think that getting married will make your life easier. It could make your financial future more difficult in ways you didn't expect. How remarrying changes things. There is a lot of thought put into Social Security benefits. A lot of people don't know this, but after you get married again, benefits that are based on your old job may go away or be reduced. This may come as a surprise, especially if that income is very important to your current way of life. There are also rules that must be followed when getting a pension or survivor benefits. Some of these rules become invalid when a beneficiary gets married again. Before you and your spouse decide anything about pension payments, you should read the small print. Along with government benefits, you can also do things like save for retirement and plan your estate. You take on the other person's wealth, debts, and spending habits when you get married. In some states, you and your new spouse may have to keep separate bank accounts in case of death or divorce. However, this may not be the case in all states. When you get married, you should also think about how you will leave your estate to your children. When someone gets married again, their legal rights can change when it comes to giving their property and wealth to their children. Many people think they can just pass their wealth on to their children like they did before. Take Robert, a 72-year-old man who remarried after losing his wife. He always thought that his children would get the bulk of his estate, but after he got married again, he found out that his new wife had legal claims to his property, which meant that his children might get less than he had planned. To protect the people he cared about, he had to have tough conversations and deal with changes in the law. Talk to a financial advisor or an estate planner before you decide to get married again. Make sure you know how it will affect your money, your retirement, and any things you want to leave to your family. Even though these talks might not feel romantic, they are necessary to protect your future. Number 2, things can get complicated in the family. You're not just mixing 2 lives when you get married again later in life. You're also mixing families, histories, and expectations. Love may bring 2 people together, but family relationships can be complicated in ways you don't expect. Unlike younger couples who are starting from scratch, people over 60 often have adult children, grandchildren, and decades of family dynamics that are already set. Sometimes these connections don't go together as well as you'd like. How adult children react to a new marriage is one of the hardest things. They may want you to be happy, but they may still feel loyal to your ex-spouse or worried about how this new relationship will affect family traditions, money, or your inheritance. Others may feel resentment, suspicion, or even concern for your well-being, while some may welcome your new partner with open arms. It's normal to feel these things, but if you don't deal with them properly, they can cause long-lasting tension that impacts not only your marriage, but also your whole family. Besides kids, relationships with grandchildren can also change. Because you've been their main grandparent for years, introducing a new spouse can feel like a big change for them. Some people might love it, but others might need some time to get used to it. The same goes for the family of your new spouse. When grandparents mix traditions and expectations with those of their own children or grandchildren, it can take time and understanding. Another thing to think about is how remarriage affects money and inheritance. It's normal for kids to worry that a new spouse might change wills or financial plans, or they might even get some of the money they thought was meant for them. For family members, money is often a big deal, even if it's not the main topic of your new relationship. There are times when kids fight not because they are greedy, but because they want to make sure that their parents' legacy is carried out the way it was meant to be. Take Susan as an example. She got married again at age 68 after being single for more than 10 years. She thought her kids would be happy for her, but instead they made her have awkward talks about her inheritance, family traditions, and even where she would live. She knew her kids loved her, but she quickly learned that her new marriage meant she had to have open conversations and reassurances with her kids to keep the peace in the family. Talk to your family about your plans to get married again if you're thinking about it. Tell them what you plan to do, listen to their worries, and be clear about what will and won't change. Even though it might take a while for everyone to get used to the changes, addressing these worries right away can help avoid confusion and anger in the future. It's important to be patient, honest, and reassuring during these talks, and to let them know that your choice is about finding companionship while still valuing the relationships you've built over the years. Third, your emotional needs are different now than they were before. Relationships today are not the same as they were 30 or 40 years ago. When you were younger, marriage was mostly about making a life together by having kids, buying a house, and getting ahead in your career. But after age 60, things change. Marriage isn't always about starting over. It's about having someone to share your life with, having someone to talk to, and getting emotional support. A lot of people don't fully think about this change in the dynamic before they get married again, and it can cause problems they didn't expect. What makes them different is how independent each person is before they get married. You already have habits, routines, and a way of life that works for you by the time you're in your 60s, 70s, or. This could mean that you have your own home, your own hobbies, and a daily routine that makes you feel good. When you get married, you have to deal with the habits, lifestyle choices, and expectations of another person, which isn't always easy. Some people think that getting married again will be as easy as finding the right person to marry, but in reality, it's more complicated than that. You have to be very aware of your boundaries, personal space, and identity. Unlike younger couples who may be working to get financially stable together, older couples who get married usually already have enough money and emotional security on their own. This means that the reasons people get together are different. Love, friendship, and shared experiences become more important than getting things from the outside world. But this also means that both people in the relationship need to be clear about what they want from the relationship. For example, they should talk about how much time they want to spend together, how they will handle disagreements, and how they will stay independent while still caring for the relationship. Emotional experiences from the past are another thing to think about. When you get married again, the memories and feelings you had after losing a spouse or a bad divorce don't go away. You and your new partner both have decades of history between you, including past relationships, family ties, and deeply held beliefs about love and commitment. Even though this isn't a bad thing, it does mean that you need to be emotionally open, patient, and understanding. Past events may have affected how you talk to each other, show affection, or deal with disagreements. For a second marriage to work, you need to learn how to deal with these differences. Take the case of Harold. After being widowed for a few years, he found love again when he was 75 years old. But what he didn't expect was how different this new relationship would feel from his first marriage. He was married to his late wife for many years, and the way they worked together as a couple was deeply ingrained in him. His new wife, on the other hand, had been divorced for a long time and valued her independence in ways he had never seen before. It took them a while to find their groove, to find a balance between being close and having space, to talk to each other without comparing the past, and to fully accept how their marriage works the way it does. If you want to get married again, you should ask yourself what you really want from this relationship. Are you looking for someone to hang out with without having to make too many changes to your daily routine? Are you willing to live together, or would you rather have your own space? Are you mentally ready for what it will be like to combine two established lives? How you answer these questions can help you make sure that your next marriage is based on mutual understanding instead of unmet expectations. The fourth thing is that legal issues are more important than you think. When you get married, you're not just making an emotional promise, you're also signing a legal contract. If you get married again after 60, the legal parts of that contract may be much more complicated than they were when you were younger. A lot of people think that love is enough to make a marriage work, but if you don't know what the legal consequences are, you could end up in a situation you didn't expect. Important legal issues, like prenuptial agreements and the right to make medical decisions, should be talked over before you say "I do." One of the first things you should think about is how getting married again will change your estate planning. Some legal rights to your assets may go to your spouse when you get married, even if you plan to leave them to your children, grandchildren, or other loved ones. If you don't have a clear plan, your estate could be split up in ways you didn't expect. This is why a lot of people choose to change their wills or set up trusts before they get married again. This way, they can be sure that their assets are distributed the way they want them to be. Making medical decisions is another important legal factor. If you got sick or hurt and couldn't make your own medical decisions, who would have the right to do so? A spouse is often automatically given more rights than adult children or other family members. This can be stressful, especially if your new partner and your kids have different ideas about how to care for you. By making advance directives or a medical power of attorney, you can make it clear what you want and avoid problems before they happen. Another tool that can help make things clear and protect both partners is a prenuptial agreement. Some people are afraid to talk about a prenuptial agreement because they think it will seem unromantic. However, it can help clear up any confusion and make sure that both people know what to expect from the marriage. A well-written prenuptial agreement can spell out how assets, debts, and financial duties will be split, which can help avoid arguments in the future. Take the case of Eleanor. She fell in love and was excited about getting married again when she was 67, but she also had a lot of money she wanted to leave to her children. She and her fiancé talked about it openly and decided to write a prenuptial agreement that made it clear how they would handle their money. This not only made her feel better, but it also gave her children peace of mind that their inheritance was safe. It's not always easy to talk about legal issues, but it's important to do so. If you want to get married again, you should talk to a lawyer who specializes in family law and estate planning. Talking about these things early on can help you avoid confusion and stress later on, so you can focus on what's important, making your relationship happy and safe. 5. With age, what it means to be happy changes. Our ideas about what makes us happy change as we age. When we are young, marriage often means building a future, starting a family, getting financially stable, or building a life together from scratch. But after age 60, building something new isn't what makes you happy. It's enjoying and being satisfied with the life you already have. So before you get married again, you should really think about whether or not this new relationship will bring you the happiness you want at this point in your life. A lot of people think that getting married again will make them happy, but the truth is that happiness these days comes from different places than it did in the past. Some people want to be with someone and share their daily life. For some, it's about being able to be alone sometimes while still having a partner for special occasions. Some people also want to keep their lifestyle and not have to change long-standing habits and routines. Understanding what happiness looks like for you right now, not what it meant 30 or 40 years ago, is the key. When people get married again after 60, one of the biggest mistakes they make is thinking that love will make them feel better on its own. Even though having a friend is lovely, it's important to remember that true happiness comes from inside. If you're not happy by yourself, getting married might not make things better. In fact, getting married thinking it will complete you can leave you feeling empty, especially if sharing your life with someone feels more limiting than you thought it would be. Lifestyle compatibility is something else to think about. You probably have set habits at this point in your life, like how you like to spend your mornings, how you like to travel, and even how you handle your social life. If you and your new partner live in very different ways, it might cause problems instead of happiness. Some people like to be free, while others like to have plans. Some people like to spend their evenings alone at home, while others do better in groups. If you and your potential spouse don't agree on these things, You should think about how much you're willing to change or whether those changes would make you happier in the long run. Take the case of Frank. When he was 72, he met a wonderful woman and quickly got married again, thinking that friendship would fill the void left by his first marriage. Over time, though, he learned that his new wife had very different ideas. He liked to staying close to home, while she wanted to travel a lot. She liked to hang out with people, while he liked to be alone. They cared about each other, but it was hard for them to agree on anything. Frank often felt like he had lost some of the freedom and comfort he had valued when he was single. Take some time to think about what makes you happy before you get married again. Do you want a traditional marriage where you share everything, or would you rather be with someone and have your own space? Would you be happier living apart but still being in a serious relationship? There is no right or wrong answer. You should just do what feels right to you. The most important thing is to make sure that any choice you make will make you happy in the long run and not upset the peace and happiness you've already created in your life. Last words. As this video comes to an end, take a moment to think about what we've talked about. It can be great to get married again after 60, but there are some important things to think about that most people don't think about until they're in the middle of it. Before making such a big commitment, you should carefully think about a lot of things, from money to family dynamics to emotional expectations to legal consequences to your own personal idea of what makes you happy. There's no need to follow old rules when it comes to marriage at this point in your life. Instead, make a choice that is best for you. Some people feel very happy when they get married again, while others realize that they're happiest being single or looking for other ways to be with other people. What's most important is that the path you pick fits with your values, your way of life, and your long-term health. Watching today's video might have made you think. If it did, please wait before making a choice. Talk to your loved ones about what you need to, get help with money and the law, and most importantly, pay attention to your own needs. There's no need to hurry. Accept what makes you happy, not what other people want or what society says is normal at this point in your life. Thanks for being here today. Please get in touch with us. Tell us what you learned today and how you're going to use it in your life in the comments below. We care about what you think, so don't be shy about telling us. We feel very motivated and encouraged when we read your comments. Please like, subscribe, and share this video if you liked it and found it useful. Thanks for your support. It lets us keep making good content for you to learn from and be inspired by. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.